Welcome.
Hey.
We're glad you could be here today. I've got music playing for some reason. Okay. Couldn't hear myself talk there. Welcome to MCU Mondays on Geek News Now. If this voice sounds familiar, it's because I just sang that theme song intro to you.
God, I love that intro so much.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's so legit, bro. That's awesome.
A lot of work went into that. And I wish I was a better singer, but you work with what you got. That's what Tony did, and Tony Stark sang better in a cave. I'm not Tony Stark. The acoustics in that cave were dynamite. Anyway, I'm Chris. I'm your host of MCU Mondays, where today we're talking about WandaVision, all about it, taking a look back on the series as a whole. Some of us have seen the behind the scenes making over and spend a little bit of time talking about that. But we're also gonna, just talk about what we thought of it, our opinions on it, and maybe what we're gonna be seeing next. But I got a great panel with me here today. As usual, I'm joined by Debbie. Debbie, tell the people who you are.
I'm sorry. Debbie with the social media squad. We're responsible for getting out all the memes and content and YouTube videos. If you like us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and YouTube. And there's Podbean and
all of the links are in the description below. Tons of links. You can check that out.
And don't forget geeksnewsnow.net for all of our articles and other stuff that's going on over there. You'll find something you like.
Guaranteed. As long, whatever. David.
Well, my name's David. I'm the head of the Literary Legion. I'm the one in charge of the people that write all the cool little articles that go on the website that Debbie was just talking about. Head over there, geeknewsnow.net. Check out any one of our articles. We try to get breaking news out as fast as we can. We like to be fueled by the fans too. So drop in on Facebook, drop in on Twitter. Let us know how we're doing. Just give us all your feels, man.
Well, fueled by the fans is something that we say, and I'm a fan and I made this, and so I obviously want feedback on this, so that's why we love your comments. David wants the same thing, so he wants to see your comments. You read an article and you think it's great, tell him. If you think it's crap, tell him that too. And Cam, you're next.
Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Cam of Cam and Focus here. I've been a little inactive for the last month because a couple weeks ago I got married. Your boy is now legally taken.
Boo!
But in the next couple of days, my next Cam and Focus is coming out. It's going to be covering some of the more philosophical topics of Blade Runner 2049, which is my personal favorite film. So look forward to that in the next couple of days, and it'll be business as usual from here on out. So I'm glad to be back. Glad to get the ball rolling again.
We're glad to have you here, and contrary to my boo, I don't know what that was. Congratulations on getting married. That was a joke. Sometimes we like to joke around on this show, but we do support marriage. Speaking of which, WandaVision, are they married?
Yes. For the purposes of her
I guess
show.
We also need to go back. Which vision is real vision? Well, if you go by the tale of Theseus's ship, the vision that was in the Hex isn't actually Vision.
He's a memory of Vision.
Well, yeah, he's like the memory of Vision. And I'm saying that when he poked other Vision in the head,
Fill my eyes with that double vision.
right after that, White Vision, we can't keep calling him that. Eventually goes, I am Vision. And then he shoots off, and we never see him again. Tell me what you think about that.
I think they're saving him for another show or movie.
Isn't that just, though? I gotta say, and
typical Marvel?
it's such a hey. They used it as the teaser at the end of the episode before the last episode, and then the tagline of the last episode is "All of your questions will be answered," and then it was like, well, I mean, he just flew away. Well, where is he? That's a question. It's not answered.
Yeah, you answered my questions, but I have a few more.
They've raised so many more. It's Lost syndrome.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, he had to go get a paint job so he can actually look like Vision.
That's Speaking of which, actually, before we go any further, I promised that we would talk about the behind the scenes, the making of WandaVision, which, if you haven't seen it, if you don't know where it is, it's not under the WandaVision section on Disney Plus. It's under a section called Assembled, because they're trying to market it as like a show. So after each one of these things, like WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki comes out, they're going to have like a making of thing. Now, I fully support the idea of these things, and I absolutely loved watching that. First of all, I'm a film major. I graduated from film school, and watching them do the behind the scenes stuff, fantastic. I loved it so much. But why didn't they put it under the WandaVision tab? I'm sorry, that's a personal gripe of mine. I sometimes get carried away, but come on, just put it under the, like, you put it under the Assembled tab. That's where you can go if you want to watch all of them, aka Assembled. But to assemble something, you kind of have to have it separated first. So put it over there. It's just putting it in two places. I don't know. And it's not that big of a deal. First world problems. Anyway,
well,
I do recommend watching it, though. One of my favorite things to see was how they used blue makeup for Vision to make him look red, because they wanted to make it look as authentic as possible for when they were doing these, 50s era stuff. They used wire tricks. They emulated as much as they could from that era. But obviously they still used modern techniques. So they used like blue makeup on Vision to make him look red, because they said women in those days used to use blue and wear blue to imitate red, because that's how things show up in black and white. And because that's just what people assume that it would be, but that's their entire kitchen is blue. So seeing the behind the scenes stuff on that stuff that you never actually get to see in the show, knowing that they actually did shoot in front of a live studio audience, just all that kind of stuff, and tons of interviews with the cast, Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, talking about also, and scenes from where they started. Like there's shots of Paul Bettany recording Jarvis on Iron Man 1 with Jon Favreau and stuff. So if you're into that type of thing, 100%, it's longer than any of the episodes of WandaVision. That's my heartfelt. No one paid me to do that. I'm just telling you, I almost enjoyed that more at a certain point than like it's great, I'd say. Does anyone else have any thoughts on the behind the scenes?
I'm a big fan of behind the scenes stuff, whether it's a documentary on movies or history or whatever. Even movies themselves, Rogue One, for example. I love that movie because it tells the story behind what actually happened, before New Hope. So that type of stuff I love. I'm a big fan of. I really enjoyed watching the making of WandaVision. It was very interesting, and I totally recommend it.
That's for the making of. I like watching the making of too. The only thing that I wasn't a fan of in this one was they did all the stuff with the special effects, and this is how we did it, but in a lot of the making ofs that I watch, it's not only here's the special effects, but here's how we came up with the story, here's how we developed the story, and here's what this character is going to do and how this character felt. And there was a little bit of that. It touched on that, but not really. It was almost like we're trying to keep it secret, so you go watch the whole show. And we're not going to give any spoilers out in the making of, even though it's out in the open now.
Well, I get what you're saying, but I also think this was more of behind the scenes on this, and that goes, and to talk about the story too much beyond WandaVision would be to talking about the overarching plan, and that's why some of the points where they did talk about it was like Kevin Feige had this, and you see him on set talking to the showrunners and different people. They're like, these are the things that they didn't actually even say exactly what it was that he was specific about, just that he has this plan, and there are certain things like run the show to a certain level, but also it has to have this, and this for our overall story. And an interesting thing, again, it didn't tell me anything more about it, but Evan Peters and Pietro, he was talking about enjoying the role, and when he was talking about talking to Kevin Feige, he said bringing him back in such an interesting way. I might even have to rewatch that part of the thing again and see if, just because I can't believe, and if they did, I'll be forever disappointed that version of Pietro is just Ralph Boner. Yeah, Boner. That's what they're just like. Oh, it's Ralph. It's just a guy that lives in the neighborhood. And
he lives in Agnes's attic,
and he was only fast because Agnes made him magic. And if that's the entire explanation behind that, that is just a ripoff of Iron Man 3 proportions. And I don't say that because that's like a bad movie, but the bait and switch they did with the Mandarin in that is beyond bullcrap. And it's the same kind of thing with Pietro in this. That's not to say, by the way, that I didn't like WandaVision. I did. I liked WandaVision. Pietro thing is pissing me off. We'll see if that changes. But I liked I keep seeing all these memes and things like that. It's like, people are hating this. Da, 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 da. And I was like, is it possible that they disliked one aspect of an otherwise great show? And that when complaining about that one aspect, they don't actually hate it. They're just like, well, I didn't like this. You hate it? I didn't say that. Did you? What stop putting words in my mouth.
I think that's where a lot of these movies too, I mean, you and I see a lot of the people go on tangents like, okay, The Last Jedi. I happen to love The Last Jedi. I thought it was a great movie. But people, oh, well, I didn't like the way Rose was portrayed, and I didn't like Kento Bite. And I'm looking at it going, you know what? There's not a perfect movie. That has never been made. There is some aspect of every Star Wars film that I don't like. But that doesn't mean I don't like Star Wars as a whole. That doesn't mean I don't like watching the movies as a whole. It's just that one part that I don't like, that I just, it's like, okay, suck it up, drive on, deal with it, get past that part of the movie and enjoy the rest of it.
Or just, don't watch that movie.
Wow. Let's not go crazy now, shall we?
Them's fighting words, sir.
That's what I do.
Well, it's interesting. I was watching, I'll probably get the title of this show wrong. The Fat Man Show, Kevin Smith.
Oh,
King of Queens?
No. Kevin.
No.
Oh, Kevin Smith, not Kevin James.
Smith.
It's like Kevin James. The comic book show?
It's the podcast show that he does.
Yeah. He had Matt.
Blunt Man or Fat Man or something like that.
Yeah, it's Fat Man and somebody else. I can't remember who it is. Anyways, he had Matt, is it Shankman or Shackman, who directed or wrote some of the episodes or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was explaining how there was a scene cut out. And it was the scene where Monica, Pietro, and the two boys go down into Agatha's basement to steal the Darkhold book.
And they got attacked.
Yeah, and when they went to go get it, Spark or Senior Scratchy jumped in front of it and turned into a very intimidating demon.
He was a big bunny with sharp, pointy teeth.
And they
Now I'm not
run
saying,
away.
I'm not saying it's Mephisto, but it's Mephisto. No, I'm just kidding. But I thought that was interesting. I don't know why they cut that out because I think that would have been pretty cool.
Well, I think they wanted to keep it even more mysterious. And Debbie, you said on previous episodes that you were, I mean, obviously you expected more than what they gave us, but you were expecting not to like see Mephisto come out and fight, you know,
Right.
but it to be like a tease. I think they scaled back on the level of tease. I think that would have been, they filmed it in case they could use it. And maybe they could have even fit it in as like an after the credits thing at a different time.
Well, and I think,
but they were like, I think the only hint that we want to give of this greater threat is in that second post-credit scene where we see one Wanda and then we see another one in a bubble studying the Darkhold. That was as much of a giveaway. I think I want to say, and you can fight me on this because I'm just saying this. It's my opinion. That's like all that Kevin Feige was like, this is as much as you can show of that. Like we don't want to give this away. Just like Thanos wasn't totally introduced in Iron Man 1. Not that they were even for sure going in that direction, but still it took like a vamp up. So I think if we're talking about that level of multi Avengers level threat, new Avengers, whatever they're going to be, first of all, we need to form the Avengers. So I think that was like, they just wanted to very slightly tease it, and they're not beholden to the whims of fan theories. No one is. Cam, what do you think about the reaction, or what's your reaction?
Well, as far as the reaction from like, you know, the fan base as a whole, I mean, I kind of expected that, you know, people
I think it's been positive overall.
Well, no, I know it has been, but as far as, you know, people talking about the various theories that they had, or talking about how they ended up using Evan Peters as, you know, Quicksilver, it's kind of similar to, you know, people's reactions to films like, well, I'm not going to go so far as to say like The Last Jedi, but films of the caliber of, you know, people have this idea so hyped up in their heads, and then when it doesn't pan out the way they expect it to, that's it. Suddenly they're just filled with so much animosity towards this one thing, and it becomes the prevailing factor of any conversation they have about that show.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as my own reaction to it, to be honest, I was expecting something with Senior Scratchy, like something akin to the post-credit scene from Captain Marvel, where you see the cat just puke up the Tesseract. You know, just you know, it's something just really outlandish that makes us, you know, realize, hey, there's more to this bunny than meets the eye. But not to go so far as to say, hey, this little puffball right here, this is going to be Mephisto in the future. To be honest, I think, I'm not so much thinking Mephisto in the long run. I'm like, you know, since they're bringing out the Darkhold and they're talking about chaos magic in the comics, the source of chaos magic is Chthon, and I think, and to be honest, I kind of hope that they go that route, because I'm really interested to see how a story like that would pan out, because Chthon is not a kid-friendly character.
No. And well, that kind of leads into, and Sporking News Podcast agreed with you on the point of Mr. Scratchy or Sir Scratchy or whatever. They were expecting more from that reveal. But we've talked about it before on this show, how WandaVision, it's the first of the miniseries. And the miniseries are going to be different things. They're not going to be your typical MCU fare. Now, I do think WandaVision is going to be one of the most different of them. And that's also kind of brilliant, because I think part of the reason is because it fits in with the story, and it worked. The story that they told worked. overall. And if there's things that are just, that's fine. But the Hex thing and I was worried about like the whole sitcom thing and that was just going to be for no reason at all. Well, they made it work pretty well, I think. And also it was good to see all that, and it mixed it up. I don't think like Falcon and the Winter Soldier is not going to be the same format. You know what I mean? It's not going to start out like a certain style one episode and then switch to like another. It's just going to be like a longer self-contained story. And that's why WandaVision kind of stands on its own. Like Loki isn't even going to be like that. This was a very kind of daring and interesting thing. And part of the reason that it works so well for Disney Plus is because they're trying to get people to subscribe to their service. This appeals to, oh, look, remember back in the day when you loved I Love Lucy? There it is up on the screen.
Yeah, definitely. I think that Falcon and Winter Soldier will be kind of a return to form for
buddy cop action comedy,
exactly.
MCU style.
Great action, great banter between the characters. I'm really looking forward to that. The dynamic that they're going to build there. That's especially because I've seen a few comparisons already to like Lethal Weapon. And,
oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And
100%.
I'm just
that's the thing I love about it. It's a Lethal Weapon miniseries, but within the MCU. I'm so excited for this. And that's why when people are ragging on like WandaVision, I'm like, you got to understand they're doing different things with these things. They're not a movie. They're bigger than that and different than that. And like the entire experience of watching WandaVision over, I think you're going to feel differently about it. Watch them go from period, like watching it directly through. Now, granted, the spacing did leave time for people to theorize, and I think that kind of got blown a little bit out of proportion. But again, no one's beholden to they've already shot it. It's already coming out. Your theories can't change what's already happening. And just because you were like, oh my gosh, I figured out, that's like, there's tons of conspiracy theory. That's where you're getting to a level of like, there's only so much they can do in a show. And there's only so much they're going to do because they're not like, oh, let's make WandaVision full of every single Easter egg of everything we could ever include ever.
They're like member berries.
Let's set up our next phase. Let's get ready for the multiverse of madness, which again, you were talking about Cthulhu and chaos magic and Sorcerer Supreme. A lot of people were expecting that cameo. Well, we got a name drop. You're more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. She's probably like, who the hell is that? Is that Doctor Strange? I don't know. And everyone's just like, well, where is he? Shouldn't he show up now and fight? And it's like, we can't pay for that.
That'll teach people.
That'd be Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany. And this isn't an Avengers movie. This is one episode of WandaVision. So we'll mention him.
And not even mentioned by name. But we'll give his title.
The Sorcerer Supreme. It's like, well, you haven't met the best of the Sorcerer Supremes, which is apparently Doctor Strange for some reason. That was mentioned in. He was the best of us. He was to be the best of us. So I think it'll be an interesting showdown. That's a multiverse of madness, which again isn't coming out until after Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki. So also we have those shows to help set up some backstory elements. Obviously, they're not going to have anything super critical. You have to keep that in mind. I think they're going to maintain that you can just watch the movies and connect things. They're going to have these miniseries, and if you watch them, you'll have greater knowledge of the world, but you don't need them to like see the movies. What do you think about that? Do you think like you need to watch the miniseries in order to? Do I need to watch WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki if I'm going to watch Doctor Strange, or can I just watch Endgame and then Doctor Strange?
Well, how about this? And this is the way it's going to happen: is there's going to be something within the multiverse of madness that references WandaVision. And then you've got people that are out there going, well, I don't need Disney Plus. I don't want Disney Plus. I don't want to have to pay month to month and find out what's going on. If this isn't, I can leave it alone kind of thing. And then something will get referenced in Multiverse of Madness about WandaVision or about Loki even. And they're going to say, well, what was that all about? And you're going to say, well, you got to go back and get Disney Plus and watch it all. And they'll be like, I got to, it's a money grab. That's what it is. That's Disney making money. Heck yeah, they need to tie it all together. If you want to know the whole story, you got to buy our service.
All tied together, but that's the same as like comic books that join up, and it's like all your favorite. Maybe you don't give a crap about Hawkeye. Yeah. Oh, everyone's teaming up. What's Hawkeye's backstory? I'm not a fan of him, so I don't really care. Like maybe I've read all the Thor comics leading up to it because I'm a Thor fan, and I've watched all the Thor, anything connected to Thor I watched. So like, I think in that kind of respect, it worked. Like, oh, you weren't a fan of Wanda or Vision. This probably wasn't for you at all. You probably didn't enjoy this one little bit. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, however, are a different, like, maybe that's up your. So you watch all of their stuff, and you're a Captain America fan. So I think you know what I mean?
I think it's going to play out like and I'm going to date myself here, but when I was in high school and we were reading the Reign of the Superman comic book series, and you're reading it week to week to week as it comes out. So I'm that old. But anyway, so we're reading Reign of Superman. Well, you get to
my day.
Yeah, back in my day, you got to one comic book, and you're reading through it, and there's this one part where it says, please see Green Lantern number 59 or whatever it is. And it's like, oh, I've got to go back and read Green Lantern. I've got to read this one issue of Green Lantern to find out exactly what's going on or what happened in between here and here.
This is before the internet, kids. Back in my day, teachers used to tell me you wouldn't always have a calculator in your pocket. And I said, what the hell is wrong with you? You think technology is going to suddenly start regressing? I have a calculator in my pocket now. Anyway, for real, though, there was a time when if you wanted to know about a subject, you had to go to a library and get a book and read about it to make sure. There wasn't just, you couldn't just get online and Google everything about Marvel that I need to know for WandaVision, which is what I do
on Wikipedia
for the show. What do I need to know? Shangri-La. I didn't know about that until I saw a meme. And obviously people that have read the comics are seeing stuff pop up in these shows, and they're like, this is the same as it. So you start thinking, well, this was caused by Mephisto. This has got to be, and it very well could be. But if you expect him to show up in WandaVision, no. It's like expecting Thanos to show up in Captain America, the first Avenger. It's like, that's not. No.
We're building to it.
We're getting there.
Give us time. We'll get there.
WandaVision is just a jumping off point. I mean,
well, her kids were crying out for help. I mean, that's a direct. I think even Feige said it was a direct tie into Multiverse of Madness. So in that respect, again with Chthon and things, they've even hinted at horror elements being included in Multiverse of Madness. They said it's like a horror thing. Yeah. Well, if the first Doctor Strange was just a trippy mind, I'm taking LSD and going to a crazy concert, a laser show. That's what he was tripping crazy, and then they were just like, now you're the Sorcerer Supreme. What is this one going to be? A bad trip? Like, but he's got control of his powers now. What do you
Well, the first one was more on a cosmic level, villain-wise. And I think Doctor Strange 2 is going to be more, like you said, the dark side, supernatural. We're probably a lead into Blade, vampires, what have you. So, like I said, Wanda's just a jumping point. And I don't think we've seen the last of Agnes or Vision or Wanda, of course. And I really don't think we've seen the last Pietro.
No.
Sure hope not.
Yeah, I think the first Doctor Strange film was very much about him learning how to control his own power. Whereas, in Doctor Strange 2, what if it's him trying to control somebody else's power? What if that person is Wanda? Because she's studying from the Darkhold, and that's gonna bring about some dire stuff. And I think that she and Doctor Strange, if they do team up in that film, I don't think it's gonna be until the end. I think they're very much gonna butt heads for at least the first act and a half.
If
I'm
they
thinking.
team up.
If they team
we've
up,
seen
exactly.
if they team up, because they've hinted and gone beyond hinting that, Wanda was the villain in this story. Everyone's looking for who's behind it, and maybe again there was someone still manipulating things. That's still possible that someone set some things in motion in this, but for the most part, it's just her uncontrollable powers, and now she's accepted the mantle, this thing. And when she actually, in the last episode, changes and bears the crown, I think of it as the mantle of the Scarlet Witch. The Scarlet Witch, which is apparently possibly an extra dimensional being, because it's in the Darkhold. It's something that, like, Agatha's like, you're not even supposed to exist. And if it's like, if you're not supposed to exist, why are you in this magic book? You obviously believe in magic. You're a witch. What is happening with that? So I think she's possibly gonna be, just by her nature, it's like the Dark Phoenix. It's these kind of beings that, like, you're dangerous. And it's kind of like a Captain America Civil War when she was kept, and it's like, they're doing this for your own good, and but you can't control her. So what's his responsibility? Do you let her go free and just hope for the best, or like? And that's an interesting thing. Like, what is his character going to do? How are they going to? And if it's about her saving her children, which at the very end, again in that second post-credit scene, you hear her kids yelling for her, and then she's like, boom. If they're calling that the direct tie-in to Multiverse of Madness, her objective is probably going to be her kids, and possibly, who knows if this other Vision's going to come into it too. Do you think we might see Vision? No one's even talked about that I've heard of, but White Vision, again, need a better name than that, is out there, and what's he going to do? One of the lines Paul Bettany had, or Vision had at the end, and this was Red Vision, Hex Vision, was that he's like, I was a computer program. It's like, then now I'm a memory made real. Who knows what I'll be next? And technically he's already out there somewhere being that next. What is that Vision going to do?
Well, I think that the key difference between, Real Vision, not Hex Vision, but Real Vision, and I guess El Vision Blanco, is the fact that the new completely artificial Vision does not have a Mind Stone. He has a computer chip, basically. A freaking super powerful computer chip, obviously, but it's still a computer chip. So he is definitely going to. Well, I don't know about definitely, but I think that he's going to be much more. I'm trying to find the right word, and I don't want to just say programmed, because I feel like that's grossly oversimplifying things. But I think that he doesn't have a mind. You know what I mean?
Well, it's an interesting question, because that's kind of the whole, when they're talking to each other about the Thesean ship, they're saying that, like, I think that's what he is. Albino Vision.
There you go. That's a good one.
He's the physical, he is the ship, but he's not the memory of the things that it's been through. And Hex Vision is the memory of the things that he's been through. And if you watch, I'm going to play it again. And if you watch at the end, this is the thing that gets me and makes me think that this is more than just because his eyes go from being like circuits to actually like human eyes.
Fill my eyes with that double vision. It's always new to me. My double vision is the best of me.
And then he says, I am the vision, because now he is the vision, body, mind, soul.
Actually, I was reading a theory on that one today. I'm glad you brought that up because I was reading on that one. So the theory was that yes, this is Vision, and this is now he's got his memories. But one of the things that was brought up was when they were talking about him in Infinity War, they said, you've got parts of Banner in there, parts of Tony, parts of Jarvis, part of the Mind Stone, part of Ultron. There's all these complex things, and if we take that Mind Stone out, there's still going to be a whole lot of Vision left. Albino Vision now does not have that Mind Stone. I mean, he's got the computer chip, but he doesn't have the Mind Stone. Now, when normal post-death Vision was with Wanda, she would reach up and, what do you feel when you touch the stone? She said, nothing, I just feel you. And then when he died, he said, I feel you too. She was made from that Mind Stone. That's the way that they were feeling each other. And now that he does not have this albino Vision has all the memories, but he may not have the soul, and he may not have that same love for Wanda because he cannot feel her the same way that he used to.
Well,
it's just a theory.
I love the theory. It's also a question of how much of him was those other things. Like, how much of Vision was the Mind Stone? And when they were disconnecting it, they got almost all of it disconnected. I've seen another theory where it's like they did get all of it disconnected. They just didn't have time to separate it. And so all he needed is a power source. And it looks like what he's got in his head is actually one of Tony Stark's second generation arc reactors with the new element. It's in that same little. So if he had that, and so then what's left? Because Hex Vision even says he's more than just like he's an advance. He is the pieces of Vision taken together, put back taken apart, put back together, just like the ship. So it's without the wear and tear, but the wear and tear is what makes the ship. So now, what? And so he gives him those memories. Again, it's the question of how much of Vision was the Soul Stone. And Wanda says Hex Vision is what she was feeling when she said, I just feel you. She said that's what Hex Vision is made up of. So if Hex Vision put that into Vision, I guess we can just call him Vision.
And so,
and he says, I am Vision, shoots off. I mean, do you think the next time we see him, he's going to be acting? What do you think?
Vision-y?
I just want to hear your theories on this. Like, next time we see albino Vision, will he be functioning? Will he just be like Vision, or do you think things are going to be going nuts? What do you think?
I think he'll be slightly different. He's not going to be Vision, but he's going to be some form of Vision. He may not have all the feelings, and I don't know if he'll ever get feelings, but I mean, that human aspect that the original Vision had, it might be something that albino or Vision 2.0 has to work on.
And it was something I like just thought of too in the last few minutes. A big part of what's powering the new Vision is energy from the Hex, because you remember that they brought back, I think it was the missile that they shot at Wanda while in the Hex, and she brought it out. Is this yours? And throws it at them. The energy from that missile that would the Hex energy that was surrounding it is what's powering Vision. So you got to figure there's got to be some kind of like essence of the Mind Stone within that energy. So
that was also before Hex Vision got to him, but
oh yeah.
and he was sounding garbled and dangerous, like before he actually talked to Vision, and then gets those really human eyes, like they just look like. And I'm like, how did getting that change the biology of you? Because that's the thing, when he had the Mind Stone in his head, and they're like, Vision's evolving. Tony Stark even says that, like, I don't know what he is, like he's changing. Maybe that's happening to this, and it's just he just accelerated the process by doing that. Like that was like
he's currently at a lower stage of evolution. He's working his way up.
Well, it's just like try turning it off and turning it on again. It's like, oh, they wiped out my hard drive. And it's like, well, I've got a backup. Plug it in. You know? And so maybe this is just needing a paint job, Vision, without the Mind Stone. But he does need a paint job. Very much. Yes. He just stands out. It's just like, that's shocking. Even when Wanda first here, she's like, huh? What's going on with this guy? It's like we had time to put him back together, and 5 different times over 5 years. We left him like this, and we figured, if we can get it to work, then we'll worry about a paint job. Frankly, separating and putting back together that much vibranium has bankrupted us. The paint job will have to wait. No wonder Hayward turned to crime.
Yeah,
Well,
that was 2 of WandaVision. They cross over with Casper.
What was Hayward's crime? Why did they arrest him? Because he was trying to shoot the imaginary boys?
Well, he also kind of went crazy with power.
I
think you've gone mad with power. Of course I have. You ever tried going mad without power? It's boring. No one listens to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, if nothing else, he did try to kill an Avenger. I think more than once.
And so, Jimmy Woo, he basically confessed his crime to an FBI agent and said, by the time the FBI gets here, everyone will be dead. I was just like, whoa, that's such a crazy. And the sword people are just going along with this. Where he's like, we're just following orders. Like,
and he's fiddling with the phone behind his back, like, you want to say that one more time, just a little louder?
Can I get that? Meanwhile, he's just getting ready for his character arc. Is I do know magic. Sleight of hand. If Ant-Man had shown up and just been like, "You're lucky I was in there to break those cuffs for you," it's just like.
Yeah, he's like,
not that I can do anything about this hex. What do you say, Cam?
I said he's in line to be the next Sorcerer Supreme. All he has to do is walk up to Doctor Strange and do the thumb trick.
Oh man, I would like to see them hanging out again. That's a thing. Things I hope to see in the future. Some members of the Avengers. Again, it'll be sad with Tony Stark not being able to be there, or at least Robert Downey Jr.'s. And we could talk about whether there will or won't be, because there have been rumors.
I think, and somebody at work told me this today. We were talking about it, and he said, I think that Jimmy Woo is going to be the next Phil Coulson. He'll be the agent that's within everything, and he's in every movie. He's just kind of just a bit player in every movie, but he's always there. And I said, well, Phil Coulson was straight laced, but he was funny that way. I mean, that was there was a comical aspect to it. I'll tase you until you drool in the carpet while I watch the Super Nanny. So I mean, he was funny about it. And Jimmy is more slapsticky. Yeah. He's more.
And
I mean, he's funny, but he's funny. So I mean, sure, why not let him replace Coulson?
Well, I think in response to that, I would say he is, because again, it's the difference between the miniseries and the movies. He's going to be a big side player and maybe advance to something else within let me ask you this. Do you think he's going to show up in Falcon and Winter Soldier?
It wouldn't surprise me.
because Coulson was kind of there all the time, playing as a bit part, working to connect these things on that under level. Because again, this is the beginning of the MCU. He dies in the Avengers. That's like the thing that unites them partially to, and we can talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., whatever. But that's kind of like the thing that they're avenging or fighting back, because that was one of the connecting threads. The MCU, as it stands now with the miniseries and stuff, it's already connected. Like this is just the extended story of the MCU. These miniseries, like this is the stories of WandaVision. So you don't need a Coulson character connecting them. That's why I would say I wouldn't expect to see him in all those other series. I would expect to see him heavily in anything future to do with like this specifically. So I would say maybe you'll see him in Multiverse of Madness.
Well, I mean, I have no problem with him showing up in more stuff. I just hope that he doesn't become like Coulson in the fact that he's going to get stabbed by Loki.
Yeah.
No, I like him too much. He can't kill him.
He's great. I mean,
like
I really
Coulson,
enjoyed
too.
him. I mean, actually, yeah, I like both of their characters. But that's what makes their their death so tragic, is that you like him so much. Like if nobody gave a crap about him, you'd just be like, thank goodness that guy's dead, move on. If it's a Coulson though, you're like, let's shove that nuke up that alien wormhole. Totally different reaction. I, for one, cannot wait for Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki after that. I'm really excited to see how Falcon and Winter Soldier breaks down. I'm expecting it to be very much a buddy comedy, but they're probably also going to work in like elements of a spy thriller and things like that, which then, and as excited as I am to see that, that's more like stuff that you could fit into the superhero genre, but it's also its own genre, like action, spy thriller. And I'm a fan of those things, so I'm more than willing to watch it. But that I'm also excited then to go into Loki and get back into like the cosmic supernatural aspect. And so that's one of the reasons I do like the miniseries and focusing on different characters and looking at different aspects of the world. Because again, the thing that makes the Avengers great is that they are different heroes teaming up together. And so in this way, we get to see like, this is the kind of stuff they're doing day to day that leads them to the craziness.
Well,
Definitely.
I think Marvel fans will probably be a lot happier with the Falcon Winter Soldier series, because from all the trailers I've seen, I mean, it's just jam-packed with action, blowing things up, fights, and that's what MCU is about. So
We don't need an intriguing story with this one. We just blow everything up.
No, but see, I want that though. I do want the action, but I still want that good story. Like the Winter Soldier film, like Civil War. Those movies show that you can, have a whole crap load of action, great action by the way, and still have a good story. Yeah, see, yeah.
It's the legacy of Captain America. I mean, it's his shield is like also another. It's like its own character in this thing. People want to know. That's already the question. Like, who's getting the shield? Who's the new Captain America? So that's going to be a question. But who are they fighting? I mean, I know there have been leaks and things coming out, but I'm not going to talk about them yet. We can talk about them next week when we're talking about the first episode, because it comes out on Friday, right? So yeah, we're going to be talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier next week. We're going to be talking about the first episode, getting into it. I don't even know.
I have one fear when it comes to this show, and it's not anything particularly story related or anything like that. But what I'm afraid of is that the directors of the episodes and the people, the stunt coordinators and all that, I really, really am afraid that they're going to forget that Winter Soldier is first and foremost a super soldier. Because because you don't really see him do much of anything in Infinity War. You don't really see him do much of anything in Endgame. But if you look back at Civil War and think back to that awesome chase scene in the tunnels, he's running just as fast as Captain America, just as fast as Black Panther. He's running past cars going 35 miles an hour, and like he's super strong, super fast, etc., etc. And I don't want him. I don't want them to bring Winter Soldier down to Falcon's level in terms of physicality. It's not something that'll kill the show for me, but it's something that I want to see more of in the Winter Soldier character.
Right.
What
Yeah,
if they
definitely.
brought Falcon up to Winter Soldier physicality?
Oh yeah,
that would not work either, because he toe to toe without like his wings and everything doesn't have the serum. He wouldn't stand a chance.
Well,
With the wings and everything, that's different.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Is what if they give Falcon the super soldier serum?
I don't know if there is anymore. And also the whole thing about the serum kind of is important, especially in relation to Bucky and the theme of why was it given to Captain America in the first place? It wasn't because, like, again, who should we give the shield to? Should we give it to the super soldier? The super soldier had it before, but why was he a super soldier? Because he was a good man. And is Bucky a good man? Well, he's got the super serum, but he got that because he was, and it's no fault of his own. I mean, he was a soldier, but he wasn't like, he didn't have like high principles or anything like that. But then he was friends with Captain America and a man out of time. So obviously and they're super soldiers now, so they buddy up. But he has his own demons, and he was a KGB mind-controlled spy for so long. And no matter what, people are going to think of him that way. So him carrying the shield for so many reasons is going to be, I'm not saying he can't, and I'm not saying he won't even use it, but I don't even know how much the shield is going to be used in this. This is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, not Captain America's shield.
Well, I think that's where this what's his name? U.S. Agent Walker.
Yeah. Yep.
Who is played by Kurt Russell's son, Wyatt. So that should be interesting. But yeah, I think he's gonna play a major factor in the show. I don't know. I'm not sure if he'll wield the shield.
Wield the shield.
I think he'll have a shield. I don't think it'll be the shield, but I think it'll be a shield.
Well, he's used as a kind of like how Chris started out, or Steve. I'm sorry, how Steve Rogers started out as a promotional Captain America, and I think that's how this U.S. agent starts out also.
A propaganda pusher.
Yeah, so
Buy bonds. Every bond is a bullet and your best guy's gun.
No, see what watch them pull another bait and switch on us, and build up U.S. agent to where you're thinking he's such a badass, and then like in his first fight he turns out to be like a coward or something.
build him up, and then he dies at the end of the series.
Come on, guys, I don't even work here.
Why do you build me up? Build me up, Marvel, just to let me down.
I'm excited for the Flag Smashers, though. I think they're going to present a pretty credible threat.
The what now? Say it again.
The Flag Smashers.
Tell me more about them.
Well, they're kind of basing them off of the Flag Smasher character from the comics, but right now in the Falcon and Winter Soldier series, it's looking more like they're like a terrorist organization. And with the short little clip that we saw of Bucky fighting them on top of the truck, and they're holding him back and kind of beating the crap out of him, I think that they might have gotten some kind of derivative of the super soldier serum, because in a couple of the trailers we see one of them punch a guy and he flies across the street, and I don't know whether how they're going to be connected to Zemo, but I think that they're going to be. I don't know how they're going to be, but I think they'll be connected to Zemo.
Yeah, and Zemo in the MCU, he wanted to take down the Avengers, and he wanted them to do it. And he wanted to break them from the inside, so he turned them against each other. Do you think? I've seen theories about him because he's got like a purple mask in this, that he's wearing that to like remind them of Thanos. But I don't think that would be that traumatic, for the people who are following Captain America, especially since the Cap's the one that came out on top as far as Avengers versus Thanos. One went home to my sweetie pie, which I had thought impossible.
Yeah, I
mean,
don't know. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, I think it's just they were trying to make him look like his comic book character, because that's another thing people care about. That's just in it. You see people come up with tons of rumors. I read a lot of them. Again, I come up with my own based again on the comic books and the things I've read. You can't know what they're gonna go with or do until you actually see it. That's why it was kind of interesting for me to thinking back on WandaVision. We've been talking about it week to week. Are we going to see the Mephisto or Nightmare or these different characters? We didn't end up seeing any of them. And that didn't ruin the show for me. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been neat if our theories had turned out to be true, but I see a lot of the clickbait sites out there going like, fans are just like, bruh. I think it's that separation of like, look, I might be disappointed that this didn't happen. I also enjoyed the show very much. And I think
I'm not devastated, and I'm not canceling my Disney Plus subscription. And I'm not
every single like thing that exists in media that comes out from like Disney or like is gonna be like, oh, this is something of controversy. This is a controversy. Like, I know that gets clicks, but it's like, and you don't want to say like people generally enjoyed WandaVision, because that's the story. If there was a news story to write about WandaVision about like the overall, it's like people liked it.
Yeah, let me reach into this bag. I know.
If we're using broad strokes
somewhere.
I mean, I wasn't disappointed per se. I mean, I was hoping for a little hint, but I think I'm still holding on to my theories into the multiverse. So I still have hopes. They'll probably get crushed, but that's all right. But I'm still hanging on to my theories. I still think some of them might come true. So
absolutely. Well, here's the thing. Everyone who, back when the Iron Man and Captain America was first coming out, and they found like that the Tesseract was powering the stuff in Captain America, there were nerds and geeks going, "That's a Tesseract. Do you have any idea what that like could be?" And people have been coming up with theories. Some of them turn out to be right. This is leading up to the Infinity. Like, there was a time when people were theorizing about the fact that it would be Thanos. Okay, so that's where we are right now with Mephisto. We're in the theorizing stage. We're anxiously awaiting the first confirmation, but that's where we're at. We were hoping to see it here, just like with other things. Like, although David, I got to say that thing, the video you sent me about the pitch meeting for WandaVision. That was very funny, because the one thing I really liked about that, because they have the back and forth. A lot of those are funny. I'll give them credit for that. The back and forth between the guy who's pitching it and the guy who's listening, when he talks about the week-to-week format, and then he talks about certain things, and the guy looks it up on his phone. He's like, "Is that a reference to this?" And the guy's like, "Well, yeah," but he's like, "Look, if you give people a week, they're going to have time to investigate and theorize about things. It's what people do." And I was like, yeah, I don't know if they were quite ready for the level of that happened during WandaVision. But I also don't think it's going to be the same, at least with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Loki, who knows? I feel like that one, I have no idea what to expect from Loki. Yeah.
Well,
like that could just be
he's going to be bouncing around U.S. history, just mucking things up. So.
Well, can he go through history? When does he get the ability to time travel?
Well, I mean,
He has the Space Stone.
Now you're right.
the trailer, he's doing the DB Cooper.
And that's
He's-
when I'm
he's
just
part of, like,
wondering, that's
some
gotta-
time patrol thing.
Well, I think that's where he eventually gets caught because he gets away. The last time we see him, let me just lay this out, is in Avengers Endgame. In the time heist, when they botch stealing the Tesseract, and he grabs it and gets away with it.
Mm-hmm.
In that timeline, because then they go back even further and steal it from. Now, I assume they steal it from Tony Stark's father. I assume when Captain America had to go through time and put them all back,
Mm-hmm.
he replaced it back in that timeline. So then it's then there for Loki to steal. Then Loki then still steals it. So that is the Space Stone. When does time travel become involved? The assumption is someone catches him, and that's the prison uniform we see him in. What is that? The Time Variance Authority or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and so Time Variance Authority, obviously, again, and the reason he escaped was because of time manipulation. So they might be, maybe it begins with him being captured because of that. They go to like correct whatever happened, and then he gets a time machine. Who knows?
He goes and finds a DeLorean and
Or finds a
Steals
hot
it.
tub.
steals some plutonium from some Iranian terrorists.
Yeah, that,
Great Scott! Great Scott!
You can do this all day.
Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott! Oh, great Scott!
You thought I was kidding?
Great Scott! I know, this is heavy.
Hey,
I've got more, but I'm sorry. You brought up a DeLorean. We had a time travel episode on Geek Nonsense now, and I still have all the videos on.
I mean, no one thought you were kidding when you said you could do it all day, but now I kind of want you to.
My God! Is it possible? It must be possible. It's happening. By the way, what's happening?
Uh-oh. Okay. Final thoughts on WandaVision. Who wants to go first?
I had started talking already, so I guess I'll go first.
Can.
Overall, if I were to score the show, I'd say I'd give it probably a good 8 out of 10. It had its ups, many of them. It had its downs, which were few, but they were there. And it did exactly what I wanted it to do. It gave me a good story that I was very much invested in, and it left me hungry for more. So I think it was a damn good effort, and I'm very curious to see where else they go.
All right, David.
I think I'm gonna drop it down to 7 out of 10 because it didn't tie up a lot of the loose ends, and I know everything will be resolved, and it'll all come out in the wash. We'll get movies and other TV series, but I kind of wanted a little more closure. I wanted a few more things solved, a few more things tied up, a few more explanations, and maybe that's just me being impatient. But on the whole, it was an amazing show. I really liked it. I thought Elizabeth Olsen was great. Paul Bettany was beyond amazing. So I don't know. Do you give this one an Oscar or an Emmy?
Yeah, like I was gonna say, on my scale, anything higher than a 6 is like pretty darn good. I don't give anything a 10. So like saying something is an 8, like Ken said, or a 7, like David said, that's still pretty high praise. It's just like not gonna say this is perfect because
It's not.
It's not.
Yeah, I give it about a 7.5. I wasn't expecting any big reveals. I was hoping for some hints here and there, but overall, I enjoyed the show. I plan on rewatching it again before Multiverse comes out next year. So it's a jumping point. I look forward to watching the movie, and I'm looking forward to Falcon, Winter Soldier, and especially Loki. So,
I'm so ready.
The Captain and Falcon. We haven't said it yet this episode. So.
Captain Falcon
Captain Falcon
and the Winter Soldier. I still haven't made that meme. I'm gonna have it for next week.
Falcon and the
It's actually
Snowman.
gonna make it move, and it's gonna be Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and he's just gonna be like, "Show me your moves." And I'm gonna be like, what do you think about this? Anyway, WandaVision. If I had to give it a number score, I would be in the same area as you guys. 7. I would be on the lower, a 7-ish. I'd say 7. Well, 7 or 8. Yeah, it's still up there. It was a great attempt. I like the things they did. It wasn't just nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. It wasn't just like, let me get it. It was that, but it wasn't just that, you know. It served a purpose within the story they were telling, and it was really enjoyable for me to see the progression and how they move stuff. Again, every week I was talking about the different aspect ratios that they were using and stuff that I've had people tell me since then. They were like, I didn't notice that a single time until you mentioned it and you kept talking about it. And I was like, well, that's something I noticed. I think it is something that has something for everyone. And I also think that I liked the week-to-week format. It gave us the chance for this, talking about it, people to talk about it, get together to talk about it, enjoy it. It's something that you don't see as much now with like binging and things like that. But I think you're going to see more of it, obviously, especially from Disney, because they want to encourage that week-to-week watching. And then also the fact is, now that you have it all out there, if you want to, you can just not watch it and then watch it all at once, or rewatch it all at once if you want. It's up there on Disney Plus right now. I think that's awesome because it's definitely something worth watching all the way through. It's worth binge watching. There's so many different things that come into this. It's kind of like the beginning of a new era of a lot of different things, which is just the continuation of the changing media. But I thought it was really cool. Yeah. Very excited. Definitely got me excited to see what's coming with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And Loki and Multiverse of Madness.
I really hope that this show acts as a precedent moving forward to show that the MCU can push those boundaries and get good results out of it.
I try.
Well, unless anyone else has anything else they want to say about WandaVision or the MCU as a whole.
Actually, one thing about WandaVision, honestly, this was, of the 3 series that we knew we had coming, this was the one I was least looking forward to, just because I was looking at it going, it's Wanda and it's Scarlet Witch and Vision. I really don't care about these 2 characters. I know nothing about them. I wasn't looking forward to it.
Sure.
And then as the show was happening, I'm just like, oh, you just get so invested in them. Like the characters were so well written and portrayed. I was just like, okay, I liked it. It was good. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
I was very confused by it. Yeah. Just by the first trailers that came out, I was just like, what the hell is going on here? But I love Paul Bettany. I loved him since Knight's Tale.
Absolutely.
Great actor. Yeah, you know, so And what's up with his fake butt in the making of?
Jeffrey Chaucer. Well, I think that was just because of the style at the time and to making it look right on camera. But again, thanks for bringing that up. That's another thing I wanted to mention. Just again, speaking of things I enjoyed about it, the behind the scenes making of, I recommend to everyone, go check it out. It's under Assembled on Disney Plus. It's not under WandaVision. I don't know why, but if you look up under Assembled on Disney Plus, you'll find it. Making of WandaVision. Thank you for my panelists for being here today. I very much enjoyed this discussion, and I can't wait to get together with those of you that'll be here next week to talk all about Falcon and Winter Soldier. Looking forward to that. See y'all next time.
Bye, y'all.